Hello, this is Fred in France for Metal Ops TV and metalobs.com, and we go to USA. Not to Atlanta, but because maybe it will be a question, but now to LA, Los Angeles, if I'm right. And so, could you introduce yourself, please? What's your name? What do you do in the band Teatrark? If the pronunciation
Yeah,
is good.
so my name's Josh. I'm the lead vocalist and rhythm guitarist for the band Tetrarch. And yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, yeah, you founded the band with Diamond. She's not here. If I'm right, in 2007, you are the core of the band. If I'm right, the two founding members
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
we
Diamond.
I've known Diamond since we were like, 11, 12 years old.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
We kind of got into heavy music at the same time, learned guitar but at the same
At the same
time.
time.
So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, so we just naturally we started the band when we were young and we started by playing cover songs like the Ramones and Green Day and
Ah. Okay.
Metallica, stuff like that.
Okay. Okay.
And then as the years went on, we started,
Okay.
writing and
Yeah. Yeah. It's the step was easy to make cover songs. It's a thing, and to make cover songs at you with your style. But after to compose, it's another step. It's another thing. Some people can't. You can be musician, but you can't be available to compose, to write music.
yeah,
It takes time.
it's yeah, it's definitely it's a skill and it's a skill that
Mm.
I think there's like a little bit of a natural skill for some people
Yeah.
when it comes to composing and writing, but also it's something that can, you can take that skill and you can practice it and you get
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
at it over
Yeah.
time.
And you learned guitar by self-taught, or with a teacher, or because internet or YouTube is good, but sometimes it's not very good. And in 2005, seven, it was not. Uh,
Yeah, not so good then. I was self-taught with guitar.
okay,
I never took a lesson.
okay.
I learned by with guitar tablature books
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, so I think the first thing I learned to play on guitar was Inner Sandman by Metallica.
Not the because there is the rhythm is not. It's not the and long song, but yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that was the first thing I learned. I don't think I even learned how to play chords for like a
Yeah, yeah.
year
Mm,
or so.
mm,
But yeah,
mm. What's your guitar tuning in Tetrarch in general in the sound in B? No.
our main our main tuning is
Yeah.
going to be drop A on
Drop A. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
on six, but we played on six strings.
Yeah.
Um and then we have a few songs in drop B and then we
Ah,
have
okay.
a couple songs from our previous album in drop C
Okay. Okay.
and then we have
Ah,
two songs on the new album in C sharp. So we got
okay.
kind of a range, but mostly
Mm.
drop A.
So you change of guitar on stage. I can see a guitar
Yeah.
behind you, a Les Paul.
Yeah, I got a couple, a
Yeah,
couple of my
yeah,
guitars
yeah,
hanging
yeah.
up.
Yeah, you play often in Les Paul, huh? But a bit like Diamond, but on Jackson, she's endorsed by. You are endorsed by Jackson too, maybe?
No, I'm actually
No.
with ESP, so that's actually a
It's ASP.
LTD.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a LTD.
LTD. Yeah, good. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, but it's similar, to like kind
Yeah.
of a junior shape.
Okay.
I use like their kind of telly shape, TE
Yeah.
1000, and then I use
Yeah.
like the kind of Les Paul shapes too.
Okay. You have still your blonde hair, or because you use a cap? No, you have changed your
Yeah,
color.
I do right here.
Yeah, okay. No, because sometimes people say no, it's not the real person, the real musician. It's a fake or something. No, no, it's Josh Fore.
No, that's me. Just just
Okay.
woke up and just needed a hat today.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So another question in the past, and we are going to be focused on the new album, of course, The Ugly Side of Me. We put Tetrarch on the head of the magazine in 2021 for the previous album, Unstable, in
Mhm.
2021 during the pandemic, I remember. But so I wanted to just before when you moved to Atlanta from Atlanta to LA, it was to be in the place to be. Because it's easier to make music in LA and especially new metal, or it was just a personal
I think it
reason.
was, we grew up in Atlanta, so at that time, I think it was nice to get out of our comfort zone and to just
Yeah.
go somewhere new. And
Mhm.
it kind of
Mhm.
forced us to grow as not only
Yeah.
musicians, but as people.
Mhm.
So I think, and at the time, like everything we needed. We could
Okay.
find in LA, photographers,
Ah,
videographers,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah. Mm,
things like that. But
mm,
yeah, so I think
okay.
that it was like really important at that time.
You were not impacted by the fires, the big fires in California around LA at the beginning of the year because the dark. I have to interview the dark, a side project of Mice and Men guys
Yeah,
and
they're a
guitarist,
cool
and
band.
they can't because they have to move from LA at this time in January. It was okay for you?
Um, they got very close. It got
Ah,
some of the fires got to there was
oh,
one night where it hit the Hollywood Hills
yeah,
briefly,
yeah,
and that was
yeah,
the closest it got. It got really a lot of smoke was in
yeah,
the
yeah,
air.
yeah. To breathe, yeah.
So we left for a couple days just to get away from all the smoke, went down to San Diego.
Ah, yeah, okay, yeah,
But yeah, we luckily, not we weren't directly affected like so
okay.
many people were, yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, so you are going to release only your third album because you exist in 2007, but you release different EPs and after several albums. So Unstable on 2021 and the new one, The Ugly Side of Me. Why this name, The Ugly Side of Me? Is it a personal thing? Is it in continuation of Unstable album, The Ugly Side of Me? And what is your ugly side of you?
Yeah, I think the ugly side of me is like, everybody as people, we have things that we don't like about ourselves
Mm,
or,
yeah,
the situation that we're
yeah,
in maybe, and
exactly.
it's about acknowledging those sides of yourself, not being afraid to actually look at them and to
Yeah.
acknowledge them and not run away from them so that you can grow and you can
Ah, yeah.
get out of those situations. So, um,
Mm,
I think it's just a very, across the album, there's kind of that theme. It's a
yeah.
push and pull of feeling stuck or getting out of being stuck. So I think it's
Okay.
just kind of a balance. Yeah.
Ah, okay, very interesting. The cover song, the cover artwork, excuse me, of the Ugly Side of Me of Tetrarch, the new Tetrarch, it's very dark with the insect,
Yeah.
not a fly. No, it's a fly or so.
Yeah. Yeah. Fly.
Fly, yeah,
Um,
very dark.
Yeah, so that,
Symbolic.
it's kind of a funny story because when we were recording the album in Colorado, there was a lot of moths flying around, and so and bugs are always kind of, but there was kind of like us and our artist Kevin Moore who helped design the
Yeah,
artwork.
yeah, yeah,
you know, we kind of wanted that idea of, flies and insects are something that people can look at and see as kind of ugly.
y-
But at the end of the day, they're just another life form that's trying to be the best version of themselves. They're trying to be the best fly they can be. They're trying to be the best.
yeah.
So even though it might look ugly or seem ugly, it's like it's still this living thing
Mm, yeah.
trying to be good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but and they are useful. Some insects are useful. As
Yes, very.
the spiders eat the other insects, and that's life. And we have to learn something. For example, to create planes, without the insects or the birds, we can't invent that.
Exactly.
Yeah, there are different singles already online. Called Never Again. I like it very much. And life not fantasize. It's interesting. On Never Again Parasite, there is an intervention on vocals, but not more backing vocals of Diamond, your colleague,
Yeah.
uh,
Mhm.
but not systematically in every track of the album. Of course, she plays the lead guitars. You play the rhythm guitars. I like your combination, you and her, and but like on vocals, she could. I don't know very much in the early stuff, but she could make more. She could be more involved, maybe in the
Yeah.
future on vocals because I like this intervention and duet with you.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, first and foremost, with Diamond, her guitar is kind of her voice, like the solos and leads,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
she also has a very nice
Yeah,
singing voice. So
a soul
I
voice.
definitely, it's been a slow process to get her
Yeah,
comfortable with singing
yeah.
on albums, but I could definitely, I I could see one day on an album where maybe she sings a whole song or something, and
Ah,
I get to take a break live and just play guitar. That'd be nice.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah, I think that it's a cool element. We have it on that song Never Again, and also on the song The Ugly Side of Me. She sings as
Yeah,
well.
at the end of the
Um,
album. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so it's definitely something that I could see incorporating, more and more
Mm.
through the years.
Yeah, it puts more dynamics, and there are a lot of modern stuff, electronics. I don't know exactly, but the sound very modern, and sometimes it remember me. Not Deftones. I don't know if you make cover songs in the of Deftones in your at the beginning. You made cover songs when you started the band. You made cover songs of Deftones in
We
2007.
didn't, but that's one
Yeah.
of Diamond's, favorite bands.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I saw them a few times when we
yeah.
were younger, so
Okay, but I find more influences in this new stuff, but good influences of SpineShank and Downer. I don't know if you know these bands. And the Roadrunner Records era, I remember because I was in the street team and I make promotions of Roadrunner on the radio, etc., and
okay.
clubs. And I remember SpineShank and the Reformed, I think recently, and Downer. Are there influences for you? Because sometimes I have modern samples, industrial sounds in your
It's
music.
funny because I actually didn't discover like Spine Shank until
Spine
after
check.
Unstable
Ah,
had come out.
okay, okay, okay,
So it
okay.
was kind of, I think, um but we would get that a lot. A lot of people in the comments on videos and songs would be like, "This reminds me of Spine Shank," and I'd be like,
Uh,
"What is like?" I just didn't know. So, it's
okay,
kind of funny going back and being like, "Oh, I can hear some of that there." I think it's just like maybe some of the elements that
yeah,
we like and that maybe we found from other bands that we like were maybe similar or something like that. But
yeah.
yeah, it's like a
Could
lot.
be.
Some of that I just discovered recently.
Yeah, the album, the height of callousness, it was awesome at this period. I remember the movie on MTV with
Yeah.
the robots. It was very special. Okay. Also, in this new album, also, are there any guests on some tracks? I don't find them. There are no guests invited, no collaborations with some friends or something like that.
No, not on this album. It's very much
It's
it's
you.
Tetrarch through and through.
Okay, okay. I wanted what could you advise because Diamond and you you learn you play guitars and some people of new generation I'm going to make general thing to state the general things, but they're a bit lazy. They don't want to learn. They want to learn, but not at the beginning. Guitars it's hard to on the fingers. Uh, and you have to practice when you make sport if you want to evolve, and you have to sometimes are passionate, but sometimes a lot of people say they stop after several weeks because it's too hard to play.
Yeah.
And if you start to play Enter Sandman and guitar, what kind of advice you can give to the people who want to maybe who wants but they don't dare, they don't what it may be too expensive or they don't have time. What can you advise to say? Because a lot of music nowadays are made by AI, and it's a
Yeah.
danger. I think if and people have to create.
Yeah.
But if musicians are a bit lazy, the new generation, what kind of advice could you give to people watch this video?
Yeah, I think, when it comes to guitar specifically, like don't ever let, you know, not having an expensive guitar be a reason not to play guitar. You can
Yeah,
have
exactly. Yeah,
my
it's true.
first guitar was like less than $100.
Okay,
Um,
it makes the
but
job.
I think just some people get stuck trying to just they don't get in. I think the faster you can start trying to learn songs that you like, the better versus like trying to just learn technique for a year or two like that.
Yeah,
Maybe not
yeah,
as exciting
pen,
or fun, but if there's a
pentatonic.
song you like or an artist and you just try hard to learn their songs with tabs or with
Yeah,
videos or
yeah,
whatever. And then when it comes to like producing music, like there is a lot of AI out
yeah.
there now, but I think that creative minds are still going to be creative minds, and the good ones are going to be able to take tools like
Mm.
AI and learn how
Yeah,
to still
yeah.
put their input into it to make something, maybe just a
Mm,
different route to create.
yeah.
So I think as long as people are still getting into music and still getting into real instruments, that's important too.
And to try. Okay. Uh, uh, um, uh, in this album, which producer you work? Because I remember in the past on an EP, Repentless, you work with Jason Swikoff, and this new one, which producer, or did you produce all by yourself as
So
with?
we co-produced this album with Dave Otero.
Ah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
we and Dave Otero, he actually produced our debut album Freak as well as Unstable. So this is our third
Oh,
album we've done with him.
okay.
Um, but yeah, he just, we balance each other out really well where he is very known for very heavy bands like Cattle Decapitation,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Archspire,
yeah, yeah,
things like that. So he helps bring out some of our heavy elements,
yeah.
and then we're able to kind of like
But use your
take
style.
ideas that are too extreme and kind of maybe bring them
Ah,
back to
yeah,
where
yeah,
better
yeah,
for our sound. So it's a good dynamic.
yeah. What are the reactions? Are you sensitive? Do you pay attention to the reactions of the on internet, on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, all about the different singles, or you don't care? You don't want to be influenced, and you are when you are going to play live. Okay, it's more important. You take attention. You or Diamond, you take or the reaction of the
Yeah, I
feedbacks
mean,
of the people.
we definitely we definitely see the feedback,
Ah, yeah,
and that's, I think, something that some people forget when they write nasty comments is that like the human behind it probably sees that. Like you do see it, it's not just
yeah,
like this faceless thing you're typing to. So we
yeah,
definitely see it, and it's we don't put like we don't make our decisions based on it. We hope that we see good comments and that people are
yeah,
loving it and
yeah,
sharing it and all
yeah,
of that. And then when it comes to live, uh, we mostly go with our instinct on what songs we think are going to do well live. Even a song that might not have been a favorite recorded, we have
yeah,
a good feel for this
yeah.
song is going to do good live.
In the set list. Okay, you will put it in the
Hmm.
set list. Okay, okay. In general, we say the third album, it's like enfin, the first album in general. It's you state, you arrive, you create your style, you arrive, you start. Okay, you release that before EP. The second album in general, you confirm what your proofs, what you can do. And the third in general, you try to experiment or to develop your own style and to create your path and after to have you make your proofs. What what's your sensation? What was the goal with this third album? You wanted
I
to
think it
catch
was to
another level to write.
yeah, you always try to do what, you feel is better with each album.
Mm,
You know, this is our third album with Freak. It was very much it was a very much a transition for us. We grew up as like a thrash band. Like we played everything fast,
yeah, yeah. It was
we wanted to sound like Metallica. And then but with Freak we kind of experimented for the first time with like drop A tuning and things
yeah,
like
yeah,
that. So
yeah,
then with Unstable, we weren't scared to try things anymore. And so
yeah,
we really with that album tried a lot of different sounds and vibes and feelings, and I'm really proud of Unstable. But I think with The Ugly Side of Me, we were able to take everything we've learned and really consolidate it into what Tetrarch sounds like, a good mixture of heavy,
yeah,
catchy, um, creepy guitar leads, big choruses.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think we kind of defined ourselves even more on this third album.
Okay, okay. In general, quickly, how do you work with Diamond to create these songs? It's you two, just only two, the drummer and the bass player also. You create from the riffs, or you have a rhythm in your head, or a vocal line in your head first, or you start already with the machines or guitars simply?
It starts so many ways, it starts with either me or Diamond have maybe like a guitar riff and
Yeah,
a drum beat idea, or sometimes it can be, either of us send a whole rough version of a song to each
yeah,
other and then
yeah,
change things. Every song is different, but it usually starts with me or Diamond having an
yeah,
idea. I mean, it could be just you're bored at home and you play a little electronic
yeah, yeah,
sound on the keyboard and you're like, oh, that's cool, let me write a guitar riff to that. Every song is different. We just let every song lead us where it needs to go. And then obviously Ryan and Ruben, they always put in their, their 2 cents with like, bass ideas and drum beats and fills and things
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
So they're definitely, in the process. But the initial ideas usually spark from,
Okay.
um, yeah.
Okay. And you have already tested live the new singles, live not fantasized or cold or never
Not
again,
yet.
parasite.
So we're in rehearsals right now. We're coming to Europe for the
Oh,
first time this
yeah.
summer.
Yeah. For
So
the yeah, for the first time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, we're real excited. But we've been in rehearsals and we
Okay.
haven't gotten to play the songs live yet, but we're playing them in rehearsal every day and I'm really excited. I think Cold and Live Not Fantasize are very they're gonna be pretty energetic, I think, and they
Yeah.
sound really cool, kind of intertwined with some of our stuff off
Yeah.
of Unstable.
And are you going to visit France, my country?
I hope so.
Oh,
We got some we're announcing some more dates and we're just
okay.
finalizing a couple more, so I'm really hoping, and if not, I hope that we're very
Okay.
close by.
And
Yeah.
you are going to play in Europe as support band or headliner on tour?
It's a mixture. We have a few headline dates, and then we also are playing um four of the festivals over there.
Okay.
Copenhagen, we're playing Resurrection Fest.
Ah, yeah, in
Um,
Spain. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, then we're
Ah,
playing Rock Marathon in Hungary, and then
okay.
one called Faj Fest in Czech Republic. So
Okay, well,
kind of, and then we're some headline dates throughout
okay.
in between those.
But come to play in France, huh?
Yeah, I would
Please.
love to. Yeah, I
Okay.
want to play.
Yeah.
Hellfest is in France, right?
I yeah, Letfest, Motoculture. We have a very good festivals in France, huh? In metal
Yes.
music since several years. Um, last question: what do you think about the comeback? I think it's an influence also for you and Diamond. And do you think about the comeback of Linkin Park in their new album and their new female singer and
Yeah.
guitar player also? What do you think about their
Yeah.
comeback? You happy?
I think
You want to open for them maybe live? You know them maybe?
I would love to. Yeah, I would love to play with them live. That'd be fun. I obviously grew up. Linkin Park was one of the biggest bands
Yeah.
of that time, and still, they were obviously very influential and just had great songs.
Yeah.
So, through so much tragedy, I'm glad that they are
Mm.
still able to continue because they're still musicians and they still have art that they want to share. So,
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're able to continue and that they,
Yeah.
were able to find
Yeah.
a new singer that they liked and that they felt could represent where Linkin Park wanted to go. So
Uh,
a lot of the new songs are really cool. So it's cool to
yeah.
see.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember my first interview with Linkin Park in 2000. They just arrived in first. They opened for Deftones in 2000 in France with Taproot, Linkin
Yeah.
Park and Deftones. I make the interview of Taproot. I make the interview of Linkin Park and Deftones. But it was a bit complicated because they make a lot of noise with smoking in my table with my
Yeah.
microphone. At this time I made radio, but just for Linkin Park, I interview. Mike Chester and the drummer. And the drummer arrived with a Carhartt jacket. If you have
Yeah.
the first album, I have the first album, but not here, dedicated. And behind, you have a photo of the band, and he has a Carhartt jacket in black. It was a fashion in 2000. I arrived in the interview, and I have the same one. And he say, "Oh, you have a." No, he say, I say, oh, you have the same jacket as me. He said, no, you have the same jacket than me.
That's funny.
It was in 2000, with Deftones.
Yeah.
Okay. But thank you very much, Josh. Have good luck with this very good album. We support
Thank
you
you.
since many years, and at Metal Ops in France, and we hope to see you live.
Awesome.
And
Thank you.
and
We'll get there.
Diamond is not here, but she's a goldsmith. We say a goldsmith on guitar for me.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah, a
great.
goldsmith. That's a word. Okay. And
Yeah.
as you have to see if you don't know the movie Parasite, I don't know if there is a relation with Never Again Parasite in your song because Parasite make me think the Korean movie Parasite. You know that this movie
No,
Parasite?
I think I have not seen it. I
Oh,
think it was within the last like 5 years, right?
yeah, yeah,
Five
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it
It's
was
never seen. Okay,
yeah.
it's not in relation. This song is not in relation with the movie.
No.
Okay, okay,
Uh-uh.
okay, okay. But see, you have to see this movie, Parasite. Very, very, very special, a very interesting movie in Korea.
Yeah, I
Very,
will.
very, yeah, yeah. I don't say Oh, no, I'd say nothing, but you have to see it.
Okay,
Excellent.
I will.
Okay, thank you very much. Take care, Josh. Was a
Awesome.
chatty.
Thank you, Fred.
Bye bye, and have a good day.
Bye.
Bye bye.
You
Thank you
too.
very much for the interview.